Good morning and welcome to Galactic Soul Healing. My name is Sonia. Today we have a topic that has come up during my meditation this morning, which is around the collective that was coming through to me this morning on the beach during my meditation was the Hadarian collective, or otherwise known as Beta Centauri. The message that was sort of coming through to my higher self very strongly was this thing about nature connection, and a phenomenon called healing the big disconnect. The big disconnect is a lot of us have, unlike the majority or probably all of the beings that were on Hadar. They had a very symbiotic, very close relationship with their natural environment. Okay, very honouring of it, very but practices around that were very sustainable. Okay, a lot of harmonious interaction between nature and themselves in terms of, food, the energies, a lot of the emotions, okay, that were shared. So a lot of the there was just a lot higher advanced, that's not very good English, a more advanced understanding of the intricacies of the interconnectedness, if I can say that, between their sentient beings and their natural environment. So we're going to be using 3 stacks today, 3 decks, to look at this connection and to maybe bring some things out about that. And also the other thing that was coming around this, that they were sort of suggesting to me, was daily, in terms of daily spiritual practice. Okay, if we can somehow either physically, emotionally, or mentally, or spiritually, of course, get into more of an awareness of our connection with nature, then it's going to be deeply healing and really supportive for us going through ascension. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. They're just very strong on it, and they're giving me chills right now, because it's like really important. So the big disconnect is, as we know, a lot of humans on Earth are extremely disconnected from their natural surroundings, their natural environment, the nature of Earth. Okay, they might be more connected to concrete and buildings and houses and vehicles and all sorts of things like that. Okay. However, they're missing a lot of stuff. There's so much here. Sorry, I've just got a whole page of notes and I don't know where to start. Basically, it's really huge. So I'm just going to, let's shuffle, and I will talk as we shuffle. And so the decks we're going to be using are apologise for the size of these, but I'll hold the cards up really close to the screen so you will be able to get a nice view. So this is the Wildwood Tarot, and the reason I've chosen these decks as well is because they're very nature based, okay, very grounding, for various reasons. The Dreams of Gaia, which is the tarot deck, which is really awesome, has also kind of a bit of a galactic feel to that, and certainly some new New Age stuff coming through in that deck. This is the Green Witch Tarot, which is kind of really beautiful, as has some images in there kind of to do with nature connection. Okay, as well. A lot of those homey things, like, you know, just growing veggies in the garden, using herbs and veggies, you know, cooking home produce and things like that, and being out in the countryside and all that sort of stuff. So basically, I'm going to quickly just do a quick recap of the issues that came up around this connectedness. So basically, when you think about it, this is the thing, when you start thinking about it, we humans are made up of the same elements as the earth. So we're talking basic, you know, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, all that sort of stuff, okay? So elementally, we are the same as the earth when you get down to it. And the earth is a living, breathing phenomenon, and it pulses with life, just as we humans do. Okay, now the other really awesome thing was in terms of elements, that we are 70%, 60 to 70% water. That's what humans are made up of, which is actually, when you think about it, it's phenomenal. Like, that's amazing. And what is the nature of water? You know, when you see it in the oceans and the rivers and the streams, it flows and it moves, doesn't it? Okay. So, and often what happens is that if water is still for too long, okay, it becomes stagnant. So today the Hadarians were pointing out to me that just on a point of health, if we want better health, okay, we need to start honouring the water element within us and start to move our bodies, use our consciousness to move, to create that flow, because we are designed, we're really designed to move and flow like water, because our predominant element is water. Okay, now that makes so much sense to me, I can't believe it. And this is why a lot of ancient healing systems, for example, things like Tai Chi and yoga, what they do is they enhance chi flow, which is energy flow. So those ancient healing systems are very supportive of the water element in the body, because they're making use of that flow, okay? And this is what the Hadarians are wanting me to say now, is that we need to start flowing, okay, like the water. You know, I was walking on the beach, and as you know, lots of water on the beach. That was coming into my consciousness. So if you want to create an awareness of this within yourself, perhaps walking on a beach somewhere would be awesome, going and maybe seeing a lake, visiting a lake or rivers or streams or something like that, and just really meditate on that water, and then meditate on your inner being as well with regard to that, and perhaps thinking about how in your life you can create more movement and flow, which we're talking about moving the physical body, but it doesn't have to be extremely vigorous, okay? Now, and the other thing too about water is that the tides are affected by the moon, right? So, interestingly enough, there have been quite a few studies done which show that over time there can be patterns that are identified with regard to human behaviour during certain moon phases. Okay, you can research and look that up. So another beautiful thing you might like to do is to, we'll cut the decks now as well, another beautiful thing you might like to do is go out sort of evening, just out in your backyard or something, or go for a walk or whatever, and just kind of look at the moon and the stars and just kind of meditate on it. And maybe you might want to research some moon phases and just sort of look into that a little bit, because that's another way to kind of honour or start recognising that you are a part of the natural world. Okay, now another aspect is that sunlight has been proven that sunlight is really awesome for our health and our energy levels, okay? Right, that's one thing. And another one is the electromagnetic fields of our bodies are positively affected by the electromagnetic field of the earth. Okay, so you can do your research on that. The other thing that has sort of become quite well accepted, I'm just going to choose a card from each here, let's just finish off this, is walking in nature, forest bathing, okay, standing barefoot on the earth, which is grounding, called ground therapy or earth therapy, which is really good for healing the energy body, which then filters through and can affect and heal the physical. But you need to do it regularly, okay? It's not just a one-off thing and she's done, right? Daily, we're talking pretty much daily. Right, and when you think about it, all of these natural healing systems, things like vegetarianism, eating more fruits and vegetables is very healing. Herbal therapy, eating herbs and things like that. Aromatherapy, which comes from the flowers and the plants, okay, the aromas, their essences are taken for that. And crystal therapy, we actually have the earth to thank for generating all of that stuff when you think about it. Okay, there are a lot of healing, and there's a lot of fruits and vegetables that are really healing. Okay, now I get that some people are not, some vegetables don't agree with some people in terms of digestion, okay, and some fruits as well, and you just need to work out what agrees with you and what doesn't, okay, in terms of digestion and what works for you. And quick little case in point, have we cut the decks? I think we might just cut them again just to make sure. Yes, I think we are going to cut. I don't know what happened there. I think we did cut them, but I got started talking. And right, we're going to do one card from each deck pretty shortly, and we'll say a quick prayer as well. But I have here to show you at the end. Well, this is my cup of herbal tea. And if you can grow some herbs in your backyard and make some herbal tea, awesome. Hope I remember to do that at the end, because I want to show you what's in there. And the other thing I just wanted to say quickly about herbs is that some people, you can look in the book and go, yep, that herb's good for relaxation, that one's good for concentration or whatever. The other thing I'd like to add in there is that because we are all different chemically and our soul essence is all different, and these beautiful natural herbs, when they interact with, say, your chemistry or my chemistry, because we are different, okay, these herbs possibly are going to have a different effect. So it's actually, what I'm trying to say is herbal therapy could be possibly a form of soul therapy, is that the herbs can possibly bring forward certain aspects of your soul or untapped things that you haven't discovered yet in terms of consciousness, because some of these herbs are really, anyway, when you start to taste them and mix blends and things like that, we're not talking extreme high doses of anything here, okay? And if certain if doctors or nutritionists have told you to avoid certain herbs, please avoid them. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that the effect can be unique depending on the person, okay? And so, and Hadarians are saying, yes, they're actually magical in the way that they work. Sometimes the herbs, because science can't necessarily explain how a natural compound with all of its attributes interact with a certain particular personality of a person. Across the board it might have, say, a relaxing effect, but that relaxing effect might, for example, help you to get in touch with your spiritual aspect. It might help you to feel more connected to nature, whereas for someone else it might just help them to sleep. Okay, so it's like it's not a one size fits all. And particularly for meditation too, if you want to look into doing different types of meditation, herbs could be of real benefit for that. Now, I am guilty of being slack in that area. I've had these herbs growing in my backyard, and I'll show you what they are at the end. But and I should have just been using them. But, things can be overdone, so we don't want to overdo it. Now, let's just see what these cards are individually and together. So the first one we're going to go with is this one here. Intuition. Wow. That is, oh my God, see how, I don't know if you can see that, I don't know if that's reflecting overly much. Okay, so there is a girl. She is sitting down, which is a very grounding pose. It could almost be in her cross-legged pose there, perhaps. She has an owl in front of her. Right, she's very connected to the animals, which animals are very grounding as well. So earth connected. The animals are often more connected to the earth than humans sometimes. And we have a cat over here. And there's a spider here, and this is a web. And can you see, I've just realised the synchronicities of this. She's sitting on top of this supportive beam here, but underneath, or metaphorically, the earth under her, there is actually this web, and I'm just going to call that like a web of life. So it's literally like this web is inviting her to be a part of that and to partake of that. And there's actually some lights in the corner here. So see how this is light on this side and this is darkness? Okay, she's turning towards the light here, and there's actually also light under here, and there's almost like stars as well. So there's many elements to this. The circle can also represent like a planet, okay, or wholeness, a symbol of the soul. And I just think that's kind of really on point about what we're talking about here, because it's sort of, there's night and day represented here, which we talked about the moon and sunlight, the benefits, okay? So she's saying, look, even though that might not be a sun, it's still like we're talking metaphorically here. Okay, and in terms of being part of nature, instead of just operating in night or day, we need to start honouring what's actually out there in the sky at night time. I'm not saying you've got to stay up all night, but it's like really thinking about the cycles, and this might help people that are having trouble sleeping, is you really need your sleep. People that stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning regularly and then think they're going to get up at 8 or 9 every day, they're really, I guess people can do with less and less sleep. That's up to you to decide. But if you find that you are perhaps depressed or you're very low energy a lot of the time from doing that, you really need to get more sleep. And this is all about nature healing, being supported through ascension. She also has, I think it looks a bit like a stone, but it could be a little vessel, a vase of some sort with a little lid. And yeah, so if that is a stone, that's symbolic of like crystal type therapy. The owl is, I believe, is representative of wisdom too, and this is the intuition, which is what the Hadarians are saying as well. It's like if you're out in nature and you are being connected with it, use your intuition to perhaps notice a difference. If you have a busy day and then you go out on the beach for a while, when you start your little walk or your meditation, just make a mental note of what your state of being is, okay? Then for the next half an hour or 60 minutes or whatever, make a conscious effort to relax, focus on your breathing, take in the natural environment, focus on the visuals that you can see, and just sort of keep reiterating the purpose. I'm here to relax and ground down, okay? I'm releasing all of the low vibrational energies that I've just been in. I hereby release all those, and I welcome in high frequency, beautiful, calm energies, okay? And then by the end of that, just check in again and see if there's been a shift. Okay, And you can also, basically this herbal therapy I'm talking about as well, could also be a way to support your intuition. So this is the other thing, is that this connection, healing the big disconnect from nature, will help you to develop and support your intuition, which ultimately is one of the ways in which your spiritual nature can be expressed. I have mentioned before that creativity and intuition, okay, are ways in which your spiritual aspect can be more expressed than it was previously. Mostly because a lot of us have been conditioned into using our minds and our bodies predominantly. Okay, but those other aspects of ourselves, like the intuition and the creativity, have been a little repressed. But they're saying now that healing this big disconnect between nature will really help this. Okay, and it will help you to identify the things that you need for your health and well-being. Okay, and it will help you to identify little changes and shifts that you perhaps need to make, either in your daily activities, or perhaps in your mindset, or perhaps even in the words that you use with people. It might even be that you need to give yourself time out to just meditate, to go, I think I do need to do a little daily, set my mind in the morning for a little daily intent. And that's all about using your intuition to really just be self-aware as well. Let's add another card here. So I'm just going to put that one up that way. Right, let's see what this one is. That one says, can you believe it? It says nature, folks. I have just got chilloramas. That says nature. Okay, now that person there has a bear in the background. Bears are, you could actually do a little meditation, or just make inquiries of the bear animal spirit, because bears are beautiful. They're very protective, very also gentle, very nurturing, and they also like to have fun, of course. But they're, soft and cuddly, and they're awesome. Now, the nature here is this. Also, some beings in the background on there, they're actually dancing, and you know what? That is a fantastic way as well. You could dance in your backyard if you wanted to, but generally, just dancing and moving is another means by which we can start to generate flow. And you might only need to switch your radio, or you put a CD on for 5 minutes and do some of that, like some type of movement. It might be slow, meditative, relaxing, or you might want to jig around and do something upbeat, or something in between, or a bit of both, or anything. And you could do that alone, with friends, or anything, okay? And that will help with flow. This is also an awesome card, actually, because here we have, this is almost like an animal spirit here, and what he's looking at here is, that's a circular thing. Can you see there's synchronicities here? We have a circle. And I did mention before that, for me, straight off, as we're talking about the earth, it's symbolic of the earth, or even the cycles of things, okay? Night and day cycles, and even your emotional cycles and stuff. So this is about cycles as well, but it's been divided into 4 segments. Now, this is bringing to my mind the American Indians' 4 elements, 4 directions, okay? Their basic element thing is fire, earth, air, and water, okay? And those elements are actually in this deck here, the Dreams of Gaia. There's 4 decks of 4 elements, okay, which is kind of awesome. So it's also saying, perhaps see in the center, it's saying work on creating a balance of those elements in your life. Now, as I've mentioned, the elements of the earth are we are made up of the same elements, okay? We're talking, that's chemically. But also, if you think about it, we have very similar qualities. Fire, there's volcanoes, okay? There's volcanic heat in the earth, okay? fire. And we have heat within our bodies as well. Okay. Earth, that's sort of more like more like solid particles. And that would be sort of a little bit like our bones, like those minerals, and of course the earth is, lots and lots of them. We've got rocks, we've got the soil, we've got all that sort of stuff. Fire, earth, air, the spaces between, and even if you're doing a meditation, you want to be trying to create spaces between all of the chaos, because the more space there is between those things, the more relaxation you will have and the more chance for healing. And of course there's spaces in the earth, and of course even the plants have oxygen. They give off oxygen for us, and that's the space, the air, fire, earth, air, and of course water. And as we already know, we are water. The other thing is we breathe in oxygen, so we are air. We have air within us as well, and in our cells. Okay, the water, of course, in our cells, on the earth, everywhere. Okay, so it's saying really pay attention to that. Even use that as a meditation for your soul awareness or spiritual practice. And I really love how this is also. You see the light here, and this is like a little bit in the darkness, but this is actually lit up. So he's kind of like, if you feel like you're kind of in the bit of darkness, metaphorically speaking, like having difficult times, is what I'm saying. Just start to put your consciousness on an idea like that, or use the nature connection as a means to start that healing process. Okay. Also make a note of, he's actually not participating in this, but it is going on. Okay, so it's something that's always available to us. We can always dance, and we can use music for that as well. And the other thing is that often the bird song is a form of music. Okay, if you go down the beach, the waves crashing and lapping on the shore can be quite meditative and relaxing as well. Right, I'm doing a lot of talking this one. Okay, the last, you know what? I can't believe this. This says the wheel. What? Oh, look, he's actually got that is a circular wheel there, and this woman here is literally sitting in front of a wheel. And not only that, the web here is created around a circle. The spider is actually an awesome, amazing, creative animal. And there's another card that's come up in the Animal Dreaming deck called Weaver of Dreams. Okay, and there's also what they call them, dream catchers in the American Indian. That might be an awesome little art craft activity to do to kind of meditate down. If you want to make a dream catcher, get a circular something or other, and create your own little web. Use some cotton or a string or anything like that, and put some things on your web. But this is the wheel, so it's getting us to think about the natural cycles, but also that circle is a symbol of wholeness. And this is what the Hadarians want me to emphasize right now, is that if we want to feel whole and connected and one, we need to start healing that big disconnect. Okay, because we are so energetically connected to the earth. The more and more we ignore that, okay, we're just stepping away from our healing opportunity. Okay, but because it's not just about us and spirit. Okay, we have the earth to support us as well, and this is what one of the galactic higher consciousness collectives is telling me, and I fully believe it. And I'm pretty sure that I've had Hadarian associations a long time back, and that was confirmed through galactic astrology, which I will give you this lady's name, because if you want to look into your galactic heritage, and I'm going to say it right now, her name is, this lady in England, Julia Balaz, Julia, first name, Balaz, Balaz, has created this awesome little method, and you can even do a mini course on it, not very not expensive at all. And you can literally find out your galactic origins. You might have to put in a few hours of study to work that out, but you don't have to do, it's not like a year-long course, okay? You could do it in a few weeks. So this, that would be awesome in terms of increasing your awareness of your galactic heritage. But what the Hadarians are saying to me right now is healing that big disconnect is all about making your connection with nature a priority, more so than it has been. And there's going to be a return to that. I don't know if you can see that. The other fascinating thing about this is that it also looks like American Indian feel here. There are stones. This has all the elements. There's wood here even. We've got water. We have stones. There's even some bird life back here. Yep, there's some birds. And this is like a garment. So this is saying that, for instance, if a person was wearing that, it's like a t-shirt, isn't it? This circle here is representative of the soul and the cycles, I believe. So, you are a soul. We are whole souls. Oh my God, can you see this? Night and day, sun and moon. Remember I just mentioned that before, that the sunlight is really important for us health-wise, and not only that, but we have the moon, which affects our emotions. We have night and day in here, and we have night and day in here. So, basically equivalent, metaphorically speaking. And all of these circular images, I can't believe it. So, the Hadarians are actually saying, be at one with the planet. Our consciousness is rising in frequency as the earth is rising in frequency. Okay, so we can't ignore that fact. But what we can do is we can really make the most of it by being at one with it more and more. Now, what I also wanted to quickly show you was this. Right, let's just pop this down here, and then we will finish up. But so this is my little cup of tea now. It's been steeping. In other words, I've boiled these leaves, and I'm just going to put them on this plate here. So what I've actually got in here is, this is like lemongrass. Okay, I've actually taken that out of my garden. I've just chopped it up with scissors and popped it in the boiling water, and just some little sprigs of rosemary. Okay, that's what that is there. So it's literally lemongrass and rosemary. Now, traditionally, rosemary has been known to be great for assisting with, if you have a headache, it's going to maybe ease your headache, and also with concentration, it's going to be really great for that. And lemongrass is, I think, it's calming effect, and also a bit of a digestive aid, possibly. And I'm just going to sip this and see. And you can let it steep for 5 or 10 minutes or so. And that actually tastes really beautiful. It's also got a bit of almost like a thick consistency to it. I've got no sugar in that. It's making me sweat. It's quite warm. It's actually really good. And yeah, really relaxing. So, like I said, those herbs can have a really, even as part of your, perhaps part of your daily spiritual practice, you might like to make a little herbal cup of tea as part of your spiritual meditation ritual. Have your cup of tea and then do some meditation, or go for a walk, then make you a little cup of tea. Could be added in as well. But not only that, those things come from nature, and they all work to enhance mind, body and spirit wholeness. Okay, so this wholeness here, you know, and you know what the other really lovely thing about these images is that at the moment, as on Earth, I know a lot of us are, you know, experiencing perhaps despondent mood states and things like that. So it's really beautiful, nurturing, because it's sort of saying, you know what, yeah, sometimes, you know, we do have to exist in sort of darkness to some extent, but there's always opportunity here to put our minds on the light. There's always opportunity to participate in some joy, happiness and dance here, and music, and there's always the potential, we always have the ability to turn gently. See how she's sort of got a covering here, to turn gently towards the light and just start to bring in some nature, meditation, and just some beautiful contemplation on that lovely connection that we have with the earth, and how abundant and amazing it is. Even electromagnetically we can really benefit and get a lot of healing from that for our whole being. Okay, it's not just physical, it's spiritual healing, emotional healing, yeah, and physical as well, of course. And this beautiful little cat here, it keeps appearing as well. And this is like, yeah, animals can be also very supportive. Bird, higher consciousness here. Cat, perhaps earth connected, but also the cat is also very graceful and moving. So kind of alluding again to that flow, get into the natural flow of your body and movement and things like that. And you know, don't forget that even though you might feel a bit like you've been hung out to dry here, you know, the sun is shining, there is life here, okay, and there will come a time when you will, you know, take your clothing, you'll feel less like you've been hung out to dry. Maybe start doing some movement, start contemplating the natural cycles of even night and day, get a bit more sleep, and it'll be awesome. So thank you very much for the Hadarian Collective for giving me these messages today. I hope it hasn't been too much of a overload. One other, on a fun note, two other little things that just come into my consciousness is they're kind of saying to me that if people want to get an idea about this earth connection, if you haven't already seen the movie Avatar, go check that out. Although they're directly connected to their planet via a cord at times, but they are very energetically interconnected, so it can really give you a bit of a feel, get your feeling body into what that means. And the other little fun thing is perhaps if you have kids, little kids, maybe watch the Brother Bear movies. I think there's Brother Bear 1 and Brother Bear 2, in terms of you've got your little bear thing here, but they're also really gorgeous in terms of you know, working through dangers and challenges, but then having some really great fun as well. And yeah, I think there might be a little tad bit where, you know, someone dies or whatever, but they come back to life and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. But also animal spirits, and just perhaps opening in earth connection. A lot of the images in that movie are earth based, so really lovely for kids. And you can use your discretion as to what ages that would be appropriate for. Yep, so definitely any age under 10, probably any under 9 or something like that. But animation and a bit of fun. But it will kind of give you a bit of an earth connection. So anything American, Indian, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. This was going to be a short video. Apologise. Anyway, I'm going to go finish my cup of tea, and you have a great, fantastic day, and I'll see you next time.